So I think Meduken may like to adjust her camera a little bit. You may like to tilt the camera a little bit. And Zui also, just a little bit. If you're using a laptop, then you can tilt it a little. Yes. Okay, that looks good. So I have the feeling that you're not sitting in a proper meditation posture. Is that possible? Can you show me how are you keeping your legs? Yes. Okay, yes, that's better. That's better, nice, very good. Okay. So, as we are sitting in a comfortable meditation posture, make sure your back is erect. We'll keep our eyes open and we see the floor or whatever is there in front of us. And we will not look anywhere else. We'll see right there, down there. Cast the sight down. And we can make the first determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, for 10 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 10 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 10 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. And with that determination, we can gently, lovingly notice the flat piece of flesh at the top of the head. Let's allow it to be heavy. And if you cannot notice that it's heavy, just check whether there is something crawling over the top of the head, or if there is any itchiness. But do not scratch and do not try to remove anything from there. And we continue in this manner, considering heaviness to the forehead, eyes, nose, lips, chin, cheeks, ears, back of the head, and we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the head to be heavy. We continue to the neck, shoulders, arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, fingers, tips of fingers, chest, abdomen, back, and we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the upper part of the body to be heavy. We continue to the buttocks, thighs, knees, calves, heels, soles, toes, tips of toes, and we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the body to be heavy. So as we give freedom to the body, we enjoy freedom from worry about the body. And this freedom is peace. Now let's share this peace with other living beings, and we can start in our room, in our minds, voicelessly. Let's wish, let's allow. May all beings in this room be in peace. And we can gradually expand our thoughts of loving kindness. May all beings in this building be in peace. May all beings in this city or village be in peace. May all beings on this planet be in peace. May all beings, including me, be in peace. Now, because the time for this sitting is finished, let's make the last determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. And with that determination, we can slowly, mindfully change the way of our sitting. Okay. So let's look at our recitation of the refuges and the 5 precepts. Today we will look at the recitation in Burmese pronunciation. Most of you or all of you already know about Burmese pronunciation. So today we will make use of that knowledge. Oh, we got Andre and Edward. Nice to see you here. Nice. Yesterday I'm a little bit sluggish because the computer is a little slow, exceptionally. All right. So the pronunciation will be Burmese. Not sure if some of you remember the points for the difference, but to summarize again, most importantly, sa becomes ta, then ja becomes sa and ja becomes za. Those are very remarkable differences. And then we have the differences in the vowels. I think you will notice and remind yourself of them as we recite together. So everyone, please you unmute yourself, and you can keep your hands together at the chest. Yamahan wadami dan wadeta. No, you forgot it all. When I say Yamahang vadami tang vadeta means repeat after me. So if you repeat after me what I say, that repeat after me, well then that would mean that I would be then repeating after you, right? So Yamahang wadami tang vadeta means repeat after me. So if you repeat after me this sentence, repeat after me, well then that's not okay, right? So instead you say ama bhante. Do you remember that? So I say Yamahan wadami tang wadeta, and you reply ama bhante, yes, venerable sir. So let's try that again. Yamahan wadami tang wadeta. That's so much better. Okay. And now this part that I'm going to say, you will be repeating after me. So be careful about my pronunciation and try to copy that pronunciation as precisely as you can. Aham bhante titaranena taha yen satilang Dhamma yasami. Anogaham Gatawa Tilandeta Me Bhante Anukampan Upadaya. Dutiyampi Aham bhante Titaranena Taha Yen satilang Dhamma yasami. Nogahang katawa Tilandeta Me bhante Anukampan upadaya. Tatiyampi Aham bhante Titaranena taha Piensatilang Dhamma yasami. Anogahang katawa Tilandeta Me bhante Anukampan upadaya. Very well. So now you have requested me to give you the 3 refuges, the 5 precepts out of my compassion, so that you can repeat after me. And now we are going to pay respect to the Buddha. It means my worship or my respect to him, the powerful one, the one who is worthy of donations, the one who is rightly and fully awakened to the truth of the world. So remember to keep your hands at the chest, and you can repeat after me. Namo Tatta Bhagavato Arahato Tamma Tambodhatta Namo Tatta Bhagavato Arahato Tamma Tambodhatta Namo Tatta Bhagavato Arahato Tamma Tambodhatta Bodhantaranang Gissami Dhammantaranang Gissami Tanghantaranang Gissami Dutiyampi Bodhan Taranang Gissami Dutiyampi Dhammang Taranang Gissami Dutiyampi Tanghang Taranang Gissami Tatiyampi Bodhan Taranang Gissami Tatiyampi Dhammang Taranang Gissami Tatiyampi Tanghang Taranang Gissami. So now you have taken the 3 refuges, and I will acknowledge that your taking 3 refuges is complete, and you can then reply Ama Bhante. So let's try that together. Tarana Gamanam Pariponam. That's right. So now we are coming towards the 5 precepts. The first precept means I follow the precept of refraining from killing living beings. Panatipada Veramanitikha Padam Tamadiyami Adena dana. Veramani Sikkhapadam. Tamadiyami. Kametu. Mesasara. Veramani Sikkhapadam. Tamadiyami. Mutawada. Veramani Sikkhapadam. Tamadiyami. Durameraya. Misa. Pamadatana. Veramani Sikkhapadam. Tamadiyami. Now, very nice. So now you have taken the 5 precepts. The first one, I follow the precept of refraining from killing living beings. The second one, I follow the precept of refraining from taking what's not given. That means we never steal. The third one, I follow the precept of refraining from sexual misconduct. It means we are faithful to our wife or husband if we have one. The fourth one, I follow the precept of refraining from false speech. It means we never tell lies, we always tell the truth. And finally, the fifth precept, I follow the precept of refraining from drinking alcohol and taking drugs. So I will now encourage you to follow these 5 precepts to protect the 3 refuges and to strive mindfully. So appamadena means to be mindful. It means that you're careful about what's your mind doing, and make sure that you never break the 5 precepts by noticing the desire to break them before you break them, so that you have some time to stop the mind from doing evil, and you always remember to improve and work on and to enjoy doing things that are good, such as loving kindness, meditation, engaging in generosity, kindness, and so on. Okay, so after I encourage you, you can then reply ama bhante. So let's try that together. Titaranena taha piensati landhamanta dukanturakhitan katva appamadena tampadeta. Very nice. So now I will wish you to be happy, to be healthy, to attain Nibbana, and you can then reply sadhu, 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 which means well said, if you're happy with that wish. So let's try that together. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you soon attain the eternal bliss of Nibbana. Nice, thank you. So that's for our recitation today. All right. So we will probably not have stories. We will not have it today. Maybe we will have it next week. Let's see, because the person, the young lady who set up our Facebook group is now not available for our classes. So let's see if she's coming, and if she's not, we will continue without her. So now what we can do. So we have several choices If you have any questions, I can answer your questions about anything at all. Or what we can do, we can continue with our story about the little Buddha. You have your book about the little Buddha, and we were reading the story about the Buddha to be, as he was a prince, and he then was showing his skill with bow and arrow to win the Princess Yasodhara. Or we can do, what else could we do? Well, these are the main things that we haven't finished yet. So what would you like to do? So it seems like we can look at the story. We can look at the story. Does anyone remember anything from that story for the time being? Denza, do you remember anything about the young man Buddha to be? Anything until the point that we were reading? Anything you found interesting? I'm asking Denza.
I remember he was trying to show us, like, I don't know if I'm talking about a different one, but the archery.
That's right, archery. Yes, that's what that's what I'm asking about. Was there anything interesting in the archery skills?
I forgot.
You forgot about that? And Andre?
The Buddha pulled the bow as if there were 100 people pulling the string, and the arrow went very fast.
Very well. That's right.
And he displayed a lot of tricks that the past his ancestors could not do.
That's right. Could you tell us at least one? Whenever you say a lot, whenever you say this word a lot, you run into trouble because you should know at least one. Okay? So always remember that whenever you say a lot, then it seems as if you know so many. So of course you need to be ready to tell us at least one. Yes, Edward?
The rich lady and the poor man. No, I got the story from the Buddha.
No, not that one. Yes, anyone else was raising their hands? Wei?
He showed off some major skills and some minor skills.
Excuse me?
The Buddha showed off some major skills and some minor skills.
That's right. There were major scales and minor scales. Very well. And Zoe, would you remember at least one? You remember even one?
No.
Denza?
Was there one where he used like one arrow to shoot down a bunch of arrows?
That's right. That's perfectly right. He was using one arrow to shoot down many arrows. Very good. Yes, Andre?
And he used an arrow to ricochet.
Excuse me?
He made the arrows. He could make arrows ricochet. Bounce. Ricochet.
Ricochet. Yes, that's right. Ricochet. That's correct. And anything else, Zoe? No? So a very simple one that every one of you can easily remember. Those are minor scales, but it is there that he could shoot arrow through things. He could shoot arrow through things such as wood or metal. Very easy for you to remember that. Yes, Meduke?
So he can throw an arrow through a water bottle?
They didn't have water bottles at that time. They probably, I don't know what did they use for water. Maybe they did use water bottles, but definitely not the kind we're using today. They had like in Myanmar they definitely had water pots. So maybe they were drinking water from water pots. They had clay, and they could make clay pots. That's true, but that would not be a water bottle today. But they didn't use water pots for archery, it seems. That at that time, resources were quite scarce and people were proud of their work, so they were not willing to destroy things unnecessarily, especially if they're important for life, like water pots. Today, people are shooting into bottles and they don't even realize that bottles have any value. But in the Buddha's time, these things had had a very important value. Edward wants to tell us something.
Well, does that mean that the arrows can go through everything combined into one thing? Yes.
No, I don't remember reading anything of that kind. All right, so let me see if we can continue. We actually went way past that. Way past that, and we were reading about the Buddha to be and his. We were reading about the Buddha to be and his wife Yasodhara. We totally finished this portion on the Buddha to be and the archery skills, and then we were talking about the number of the ladies who were taking care of the chronicle. So I will have to set it up because we didn't see it for a long time and I do not have it set it up. So just a moment. Okay, yes, I have found the book. So we even looked at the 4 omens, right? The 4 things that the Buddha to be saw, which persuaded him to become a Buddhist monk. Basically, he could not become a Buddhist monk because Buddhist monk means that he follows the Buddha, but at that moment no Buddha was available yet. Buddha to be was yet to become the Buddha himself. But he saw 4 things when he was outside of the palace as he was on the way to the royal garden. So I would like to know what were the 4 things from you. So let me find those things. Okay, yes, I have found exactly the place where we finished last time. Nice. So I would like to ask you if anyone remembers what were the 4 things? Do you remember at least one thing out of those that he saw on the road? Tiri?
He saw an old man, I think.
Yes. Tiri, would you remember anything else he saw? Okay, okay. Andre?
A sick person, a dead person, and a monk.
And also a monk. So altogether, 4 people. He saw an old one, ill one, then dead one, and then an ascetic. So, Zoe, could you tell us how did these people come on the road? How did they make it? Because the king previously he organized his soldiers and he organized them and made sure that nobody will be there on the road when nobody, ill or old or dead will be on the road visible. So how did these people get on that road? Will you remember that, Zoe? No idea? Did he?
There's a god pretending to be all those things.
That's right. That's a nice simplification. That's exactly right. So, Tenza, any idea what about the last point? So, when the Buddha saw a dead person, then how many people were engaged in showing the Buddha a dead person? Was there just one person who just was dead there on the street, or was there a group of people how to say that, who were performing the dead person appearance? There was one person dead, but how many person were engaged in that process? How many people? Tenza, are you here with us? No idea? So let's look at that. So I have found the book. Now let's look at it. Yes, we actually finished exactly there. We finished there with the scene of the Buddha to be seeing the dead person. So just a moment. I have some slower machine at this moment. Okay. So now the Buddha to be saw a dead man, deceived and distracted by the 5 pleasures of the senses, increasingly provided and arranged by his father King Suddhodana to deter him from renouncing the world and becoming a recluse. Prince Siddhattha spent his time enjoying the pleasure and luxuries of the palace life. And his sense of religious urgency, that means the need to do something about the world, diminished. It disappeared. Then after 4 months of luxury again, the Buddha to be again went out to see the royal garden. On the way, he saw the omen, that means the symbol, the sign, the mark, or the message created and shown by the devas, by the gods, for the third time. So throughout the time that he saw these messages, so first message was about illness, second one about old age, the third one now is about death. So what did he saw? A crowd of people. So that was my question. How many people were there? Actually, there was a crowd of people. A crowd of gods came there to perform this appearance. A crowd of people and a stretcher or bier decorated with multicolored cloth. So what's a stretcher? Stretcher or bier is basically a bed without legs. And then people take it in the front and at the back, and then they carry it. A stretcher is used if someone is ill and you need to carry that person somewhere. Then you place that person on this thing called stretcher, and then you carry them away. So beer is a luxurious kind of stretcher, or that's the way how I understand it. I'm not sure now, but stretcher for sure, and that's what today people in the hospital use when they go outside on the road and someone needs help very fast. They need to be carried into the ambulance, into the, I don't know how you call it in the US, to the hospital car, and they move the person in. Okay, so the people were gathering around and preparing the stretcher to put the dead person on the stretcher and carry the person to the funeral, to burn the body. So the chariot Channa explains to the Buddha to be that these are people who are gathering around to take care of someone who died. But the Buddha to be never ever saw a stretcher before, and he never ever saw a dead person. So he is asking, "O charioteer, if they are assembled and engaged in making a stretcher, drive me to where the dead man lies." And the charioteer took the Buddha to that place, and the Buddha saw that dead person and asked, "O charioteer, of what nature is this dead man?" Because the Buddha to be still didn't understand what is it to be dead. And the charioteer explained, "Your Majesty, when a man dies, his relatives will never see him again, nor will see his relatives any longer." So, yes, nor will he see his relatives. So here we have some mistake. Nor will he see his relatives any longer. Let me make a little note in here. Okay. So then the Buddha to be is surprised. How is this possible? Is this true? So he needs to make sure he understood well. So he's asking, will my father, mother, and relatives also not see me again one day? Will I also not see them again one day? And the charioteer explains, all of us, including your Majesty, as well as I, are subject to death. There is no one who can overcome death. It is certain that one day your royal father, that means the king, your mother, the queen, and relatives will not see you anymore. And it is equally certain that one day you will no longer see them. So that's about death. Death is coming, and it's there for us. You never know when you die. In the US, it's even more dangerous, because in the US, many people have guns and they just so much love using them. Now, for example, in the Czech Republic, people do not have guns, so they cannot use them, and therefore people don't die because of guns. Of course they still die, but they don't die because someone would kill them. In the US, people love guns so much, so people die because people kill them. That's the way it is. So the number one way how you can avoid the danger that someone kills you is that they will not take the gun. And this is also the Buddha's teachings. The Buddha suggests that you do not take hold of the rod. You do not take hold of the stick. You do not take hold of the sword, of the blade, of the knife. Of course, you need to use knife. For example, in the Buddha's time, they used knife to shave themselves. They used knife to prepare their food, and so on. So of course they would be using, but here we are talking about knife as a weapon. So the first requirement to avoid people killing each other is to make sure that they do not take those things in their hands. If they take those things in their hands, well, then there is a higher danger than that they will use it to kill someone. So the ultimate solution for not killing each other in the US is that people do not take guns. Many people like to take guns for sport, so they go to special places and then they shoot into their I don't know how you call that. Targets. So they have their targets, and then they point their weapon towards that target, and then they shoot to see if they can aim at the target properly, and then finally shoot in the center of that target. But I personally do not think that's a good idea, and many people in the US are comparing the US situation with the other countries. You do not have school shooting, school killing in other countries. There is not so much killing at all in Japan and many other countries, like in the Czech Republic. Almost none. Never, school shooting never happened in the history of the Czech Republic. It's ridiculous. So again, in the Czech Republic and in those countries, people do not have weapons at homes. And because they do not have weapons at homes, well, then they don't use them to kill each other. It's just so simple. It is there is an added problem, and that is that people already have weapons in their homes. So it is a little difficult in the US to resolve the problem because people already have weapons. So even if you prohibit to buy new weapons, that's not a solution because many people already have weapons in their homes. So you would have to remove their weapons from their homes, and that of course would not be successful because people would not agree with that. Alright, so that's about death. Death is waiting for all of us. You never know when you will die. You may die because of illness, you may die because someone shoots you to kill. Not in Vietnam, not in Czech Republic. You would not die because someone would shoot you to kill. Probably there are important exceptions though. So you may die by anger. There are people who die because they're too angry. If you get too angry, that may be dangerous for your heart. And then if your heart gets frozen because of that anger, well, then you die because the heart doesn't work. There are many people who die from various diseases, and there are also people who disappear. So whether they die when they disappear or whether they just disappear and nobody can find them, that's hard to tell. There are some people who are kidnapped by people and also by some other beings, it seems, or such are very special reports, but I don't want to talk about that because that's really too far away from our topic. So now the Buddha to be saw death. So now the Buddha to be has seen an ill person, an old person, a dead person, and he realizes that he himself also must get old one time. He himself also must get ill one time. He also must die. He also must die one time. And that's a shock to him. That's so unexpected to him because he thought that he will be young and beautiful forever, and he will be just enjoying sensual pleasures of the 3 palaces that he has. What are the palaces that he has? He has 1 palace for winter, 1 palace for summer, 1 palace for rainy season. Okay, so now for the 3rd time, like previously, he is disappointed. He is so disappointed that there is this thing called death, that again he asks his charioteer to turn back from that place and return to the palace. So the Buddha to be made 3 attempts to see the royal garden, and in all 3 he didn't make it. He always turned back to the palace, and then he was okay, and then again he was thinking about the meaning of life. So Bodhisatta's saṃvega. Saṃvega. I'm sure we already talked about this thing. Will anyone tell me what is saṃvega? Andre, any idea what's saṃvega? No, Zue? No idea. Tenza, any idea what is saṃvega? So saṃvega literally means trembling. And we tremble when we are afraid. So saṃvega is trembling out of fear. And because it is saṃvega, it is total trembling. It is a serious trembling. It's a very bad fear. What is this fear about? Well, it is fear from old age, sickness, and death. But also saṃvega is trembling because of the suffering in the world. It is trembling because of the consequences of our bad actions that we either did in this life or that we maybe did in some of our past lives. So saṃvega is a very important concept in Buddhism. You need to know what is saṃvega. When I ask you what is saṃvega, immediately you need to know that is the fear of the real world based on understanding. So saṃvega is not just fear, it is wisdom. Saṃvega is always fear connected with wisdom. It is never just fear alone. Fear alone is a bad thing. We don't want that kind of fear. When we have fear without wisdom, well, then we are fools. We are not fools because of having fear, but we are fools after having that fear. First you have fear, and then you become a fool because you do not think clearly. Your mind is hot, and you are stressed, and you are afraid, and so your intelligence is low. But when you have fear with wisdom, that's a kind of worry, but the wise worry, clear understanding that something needs to be done. And that is saṃvega. So we will be talking about this during our next lesson. And I would like to And I would like to ask you to take your notebooks and write down notes from the little point we went through. So you have probably notes about the Buddha to be seeing the dead man. Is that possible? Can you take your notebooks and check it out? Hopefully you still have them. Tenza?
I don't know where it is.
So think and search.
I don't have a notebook.
Sorry? Edward?
I have a notebook.
Do you have your notebook from previous time, Edward? Sorry, Andre?
I think it's in the second room. I'm gonna check. I don't have my notebook. It's at my brother's house. What could I do if I didn't have a notebook?
Yes.
What should I do if I don't have a notebook?
In that case, please wait. Meduken, do you have your notebook?
No, because mine is at my brother's house, and I usually stay there at the weekends.
Okay. So do you think you?
And for me, my father didn't even buy it.
This is no problem, Edward. We can resolve that later. No worries. Meduken, do you have a paper and pen? So you could write it on a paper and then later you can stick it in your notebook?
I don't know.
So can you ask your parents? Can I have a paper? Can I have a pen?
Oh, my mom is showering.
Sorry?
My mom is doing something upstairs.
I see. But still, do you think you could find a paper and pen so that you can write down the note?
Sure.
You can try. We'll be waiting. Didi, have you found your notebook? You have it? Nice. So we are waiting for Zue and Meduken. Tenza, have you found your notebook?
I think it's at the other house, so we're gonna have to use just some paper and then cut in.
I see. Okay. I would like to ask you, everyone, to be careful about your notebook and to keep it. Try to keep your notebook at least for the next 20 years. Okay? And try to do the same with your with your school notebooks as well. See if you can keep your notebooks for so long. And this will then later help you, because then later, if you want to know what did you learn about at school, you can then look at your notebook and you can be you can enjoy the notes that you made when you were kids. So Andre got a paper and pen, right? Maybe Edward can have his paper and pen also.
He's getting them.
So Tiri, do you have your, yes, you have your notebook, nice. Is that your old notebook where you have the previous notes? Tiri, I don't hear you. Tiri, you're muted.
I have one notebook and I have another notebook. This one is another notebook.
Do you have the notebook where you have the last notes about the Buddha to be?
The notebook that has the notes that last recorded.
Yes.
This one.
You have it? Can you tell us what are the last things you have there?
Well, one thing came out, so it's out of order a little. But the last thing I have is, why do I follow the Buddha's teaching?
But that came later. Do you have there anything about the Buddha to be, about the prince?
What about the prince?
Yes. Do you have anything about the prince in your notebook? Anything at all?
Yeah, but it's out of order, so yeah, a lot.
So can you tell us the last thing that you have there?
I can't because it's out of order.
How do you make it out of order? You just write on page 1
It's
and
out,
then
it's out of order because I had to. It's out of order because one ripped out, so I had to tape it back in. So now it's out of order because I couldn't find where it came.
we always wrote the date, right, in the beginning of every note. So can you search the latest date?
I'm actually not sure if it's out of order. It's just probably out of order because
It certainly is not out of order, and if something is out of order, it may be just one note taped somewhere in the middle. But I suppose that most of it is not out of order. Medukan, did you get a paper and pen? Yes, you've got it. Very nice. How did you do it?
I saw my mom stop showering and she was in her bed, so I asked her where was some of the paper, and she said in my uncle's room.
Very nice. Okay. So Zue, are you here with us? Oh, Zue is coming. Nice. Zue is coming. Now let's see if he has his notebook. Very nice. So Didi, tell us what is the last thing you have there in your notebook?
April 23rd.
I'm listening.
April 23rd is the last thing about Prince.
Yes. Can you read for us? What do you have there?
The Prince. Okay, it's kind of hard to read. I can't read my own handwriting.
Oh, that's poor. That's poor. Imagine if I tell you if I tell you how to get a treasure, and then you have to write down notes with the map or with the instructions how to get the treasure. So you write it down and then you cannot read it. That would be so funny, wouldn't it be? Because then you cannot find the treasure. So the same way, when I give you information about the Buddha or about the Buddha's teachings, that actually itself is a map towards the treasure. It's the treasure of happiness. So you need to write down the notes well, easily, nicely, clearly, so that you can always read them. So hopefully from now on you have learned very well. And always, whenever you write notes, you write them perfectly clearly so that you can easily read them and easily learn from them again. I will ask Zue. Zue, can you look at your notebook and tell us what is the last note about the Buddha to be, about the prince that you have there?
I couldn't find my notebook, so I just saw an empty notebook and I found it.
I see. So that's a different one. And you never used this one, the other one, for our class? I see. Okay. So I would like to ask here everyone to be careful about your notebook. It's a very precious thing, and you need to keep it close to your computer, or you need to set up a special place in the room and make sure that your notebook is always there and nowhere else. If your notebook is always there and nowhere else, well then even if we do not use it for 1 year, then you just go to that place and you just take your notebook. It's just that simple. All right. So Zue, we will write the note next time. I'm also quite tired, so I need to take rest. But I would like to ask Zue, now you have a new notebook. Are you sure you can use this notebook for this class? Can you use this notebook always for this class? Yes. So Zue, I will ask you now a very special question. Where will you keep that notebook? It should be one place in your room or close to the computer that will never change, unless of course you move from one to another house or you decide to rebuild your room. So what will be that place in your room exactly where you will keep your notebook?
Well, there's some space like below where my computer is sitting on top of, so I have a place this down there.
Okay. Are you sure that it can stay there and that you will not remove it from there anytime except during our classes? Okay. Do you think if you keep it there for 6 months that it will be there after 6 months? So, yes, you think that? Nice. So that's a very good solution for the next time. Later, if you find the old notebook, remember to take the pages from the new one and move it to the old one and continue using the old one until you make use of all of the notebook. All right? Zue, is there any chance that you will find your old notebook?
Well, there's some notebooks that use there right now.
So maybe you may like to look at that. Maybe one of them is actually your old notebook. So, Tiri, where will you keep your new notebook?
I've been using this notebook for a long time, so it's pretty much not new.
Okay, very good. So, can you?
But new-ish.
So, can you tell us where will you keep your notebook so that it's just one place where it will always be, even if you do not use it for a long time?
Well, I think I'd keep it where I usually take my classes over here.
Are you sure that this place will not change? And that nobody will take it away? Really?
Well, actually, I'm pretty sure, because, well, yeah, I'm really sure.
Okay, that looks good. So you can try that. And I think you have another notebook, right? Or is this the only notebook that you've been using for our classes?
Yeah, I have another notebook, too.
Any idea where could it be?
There's a cabinet where I think it's probably at.
Okay, so it's good. When will you get access to the cabinet?
Well, I could go to it right now, but there's a lot of stuff in that cabinet, so stuff could fall out.
Okay, so please.
There's not enough room to push it to get my notebook out if it's far in.
So you may like to ask your mom to help you with that, and see if you can get your second notebook so that they are nicely together at the same place. So Tiri, can you please read for us the last note that you have there?
I can't read it.
Mm-hmm. Can you try?
Oh yeah. Okay, I really need to rewrite this. The prince in show 12 minor. Okay, I can't read this word. I think it's and. Oh yeah, it's and. In 4 major archery skills.
Mm-hmm. Archery skills. So the last note that you have there is related to the archery skills. That's interesting. I would like to know whether we made notes. We certainly did make notes about the Buddha to be seeing the omens, right? Anyway, we would need to find someone. We would need to find someone who really has the notebook with those notes.
Maybe it's
since I have it here, I just read it.
Excuse me?
You know the notes from the June with the omen?
Yes. If you have that, I would like to hear. What do you have there?
Oh, I'm not sure if April's fun. I wasn't thinking.
Okay, so Tenza, can you please read for us your last note? If you have it.
When the prince went to the royal garden for the 3rd time, he saw a dead man.
Hmm.
He saw a dead man deities created and showed the omen and a warning of a dead man with a crowd of people around him. The prince again learned that he also must die one day, and dejected returned to the palace.
Nice. Okay, thank you. So that means that we can continue on this, and now we will just write what is saṃvega. So you can all start on a new page on the next page, on the following page, at the top right corner, or yes, at the top right corner you can write, or at the top, it's no problem, not a right corner, at the top left you can start writing your date, October 15, 2022, exactly as I've written it now in the chat.
Yeah, but this is at the top. There's stuff on the back of it. I'm not going to say it. If only you have enough space, that's fine.
All right, so I have here a little note. This is all what you will be writing today. Saṃvega. Remember to add the little dot below M. The little dot below M is quite important. So please remember about that little dot. Saṃvega is wise fear, trembling. It's caused by the clear understanding of the dangers in the world. Saṃvega is fear with wisdom, because we are afraid of old age, sickness, and death, but also want to get free from them by following instructions of a wise teacher. And that is all for today. So thank you everyone for coming. May you be happy. So yes, please continue writing this. I will ask I will ask Tenza's mom. I'm really tired, so my mind doesn't work the way I want. Miyake, of course, Ma Miyake. Yes, I'm sorry. So I will ask Ma Miyake to take the message and to share it also in Viber. And I wish you everyone to be happy. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may all your wishes be soon fulfilled.
Goodbye, Venerable Sir.
Nice, thank you. So please stay here, wait until you finish writing the note, and then of course you can leave. Thank you.